For a long time, I've been very passionate about the idea of same-sex couples being given full legal rights in their relationships. Barack Obama has been almost dragged to this by his Vice President, Joe Biden, who made some comments of recent days. Well, today he has gone on American television and Barack Obama has said that his opinion has now evolved. He now believes that same-sex marriage should be legalised. But this will come with a heavy political cost. Remember, he's running for re-election in a very tight race against a very fired-up Republican Party in an essentially very conservative country where states have voted explicitly against same-sex marriage. Joining us now from our CBD studio in central Sydney is David Smith. He's from the US Studies Centre. He joins us frequently to talk about American politics here on the air. David, nice to see you.
Good to be here.
So just how big a risk, if any, did Barack Obama actually take today?
I actually don't think that this is a big political risk for Barack Obama. And the reason is that not only has the American public been moving towards a pro-gay marriage position, it's probably about 50-50, but I think that this issue actually matters a lot less to conservatives than it used to. I think that back in 2008, it was a real political risk for him to say anything about this, and so he didn't. And back in 2004, it was practically enough to cost John Kerry the election when there were same-sex marriage ballot measures on some states' polls on the same day as election day. But I actually think conservatives care about it a lot less these days. I've seen survey data that suggests that a lot of the conservatives who are opposed to it rate it as a very unimportant issue. And so I think there's not a huge amount of risk to Obama for this. There's a lot of people who are very dedicated to preventing gay marriage, but Obama was never going to get their votes anyway. So I think that this is going to help him raise funds in the Democratic Party. It's going to help him fire up his base, and I don't think there's a lot of risk to it, and I think that's why he was prepared to say it.
But the states that he has to win places where he did last time. He's got to win places like Florida, he's got to win places like Ohio, Pennsylvania, a lot of these places where I'm not suggesting that there's a huge social issues area, but remember, it's all about turnout.
Yep.
And the 18-year-olds who voted the first time around for Hope and Change, guess what? Hope and Change didn't happen, so they mightn't turn up, whereas what has happened in the past 4 years is that the Tea Party's been very fired up, so turnout matters, and I don't know that a vague idea that he believes it's a states' rights issue is going to be enough to, again, re-energise those 18-year-olds, where if it does bring a few thousand extra evangelical Christians to the game, it helps Mitt Romney, who has a very clear anti-same-sex marriage position.
Yeah, that's certainly a concern, although a lot of evangelicals actually distrust Romney quite heavily on this issue because he signed same-sex marriage into law in Massachusetts, and he doesn't really want to talk about this issue. He wants to talk about the economy. My feeling is that the Tea Party actually really took the emphasis off issues like this. I mean, even Glenn Beck, who's a figure heavily associated with the Tea Party, not that long ago said he wasn't really worried about gay marriage as long as it wasn't going to cost him anything. This is, yeah, I mean, this is a definite...
God love Glenn Beck.
That's right. And I think that the Tea Party sees this as a fairly unimportant issue, and I don't think that anyone who wasn't planning to vote is now likely to turn out, because people who weren't planning to vote because they saw Mitt Romney as insufficiently conservative, I don't think that this is going to get them out. I think that, so this is definitely an attempt to reclaim those 18-year-olds. It is going to be something that's done in concert with a big get-out-the-vote effort in college towns, and you can see Obama's been visiting a lot of them recently. And, yeah, so I don't know if this is going to work. I think that it might actually be better at getting donations from the Democratic Party base.
See, I think that Obama will win if unemployment doesn't continue to be as big a problem. I don't think he's got a lot more room for it to move upwards. But I'm looking at 3 opinion polls here now. Basically a mixture of left-leaning ones, right-leaning ones, and a daily tracking poll. The Associated Press poll has Obama up 50-42. The Gallup tracking poll, which is a daily poll, has Romney up 47-44. And the Rasmussen poll, which is the more right-leaning one, is 59-44. Now, this is tight. But your guess, if there was an election held with the economy staying exactly where it is, and super PACs and everything else, who do you think will win?
I would give the edge narrowly to Obama. And I've got to admit, I would be following the betting markets here. And InTrade, which is the main betting market on this, gives Obama about a 60% chance of winning. So that would be about a $1.65 payout, I think.
When all else fails, what do the bookies want?
That's right. I mean, they tend to be the most reliable indicators because they're effectively aggregating all of these polls. But, you know, the economy's staying the same way. That's a huge variable at this point, given what's happening in Greece and what's happening in France and other parts of Europe. So, yeah, the economy could continue to deteriorate. And if it does, Mitt Romney wants the focus to be on the economy. See, he doesn't want these other kind of issues actually coming in. He doesn't want same-sex marriage or contraception or national security coming in and distracting from what might be his main strengths, which is that in these key states, Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Nevada, economic recovery has been a lot slower than it's been in the rest of the country. And this is, you know, Nevada and Florida were places particularly hard hit by foreclosures. Pennsylvania and Ohio have large manufacturing bases which are eroding. So I still think that in the end the economy is going to decide it. If it was decided tomorrow, I think that Obama would win, but I don't know how the economy is going to go at this point, and I don't think that anyone can really say with any confidence what's going to happen.
David Smith, from one American political nerd to another, it's nice to talk to you, and points for bringing up Glenn Beck.
Pleasure to talk to you, Paul.
Thank you, mate. We'll do it many times before now and the November election.